Let's talk about me being a cart guy at Shoprite, which was my first job. Wow, my first job. That was so long ago. Ugh, do I really want to do this? Alright, let's get into it, guys. Hey guys, what is up? Dustin back with another video. And in this video, we are talking about my first job being a cart guy at a supermarket called Shoprite. Let's get into the video, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. What exactly is being a cart guy? I'll tell you what a cart guy is. I'll tell you what being a cart guy at a place like Shoprite is like. I'll tell you what I had to do every day. I'll tell you guys. You guys want to know. You guys clicked on this video to find out. I will tell you right now. You know, the usual stuff. Collecting carts, putting carts in the corrals, bringing the carts up to the front of the store so customers can take those carts. You know, the usual. Helping customers out, taking stuff to their car if they needed help. Bringing back the Amigo carts, which were the electric carts. That's what we called them. I don't know what other places call them, but we called them the Amigo carts. And they were the electric scooters that people would drive if they needed them. And they would leave them outside because, you know, they couldn't bring it back in because the whole purpose of them taking them is because they needed them. So somebody had to bring them back in. And the front line of that job was this guy. This guy had to do it. Other than that, you know, cleaning the parking lot, cleaning around the building from time to time, collecting carts around the building, and you know, basic stuff, basic things that any cart guy would have to do if he was a cart guy at a supermarket. Before I dive into all the fun and some of the weird stories that happened when I was working at Shoprite, let's get the basics down. I told you what the job was about, but let's talk about me for a second. What I was about back then. That is a really weird way to put it. What I was about back then. What does that even mean? I started this job, like I said, it was my first job at the age of 16. I was there until I turned 18. Yeah, that was the end of high school for me, and that's a whole different video right there. That's a whole different rabbit hole right there. We're not going to get into that in this video. Yeah, my first job, I was 16 when I started the job, and that's pretty much all you need to know about me back then. What else do you need to know? I was 16 till I was 18. My first job, that's all you need to know. As a first job, not that bad. I mean, you know, some fun times, some bad times, like any kind of job you would really expect. And overall, I think I enjoyed working there. It was probably the longest job I've ever had, 2.5 years. I'm 24 now. That's probably not the best thing to say, but yeah, 2.5 years. That was by a long shot my longest job I've ever had. This job was hilarious with people. The customer sometimes was just mind-boggling. You know, if you work any kind of customer service job, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But what's funny about this is that I actually didn't have to deal with too many customers, even though I was outside. From time to time, I had to deal with them, but not as much as a cashier, obviously, because there's not a lot of one-on-one when you're doing carts. Just the occasional, hey, how are you? Hey, I need help with this cart real quick, and I just kind of saw people struggling with a cart. I help them get the cart freed because carts do get stuck together. Don't be twisted. If you ever try to pull a cart out, there's reasons why they don't come out. They actually get stuck, and you have to pull in the front. It's a whole different thing. I don't even remember, but if I went to a cart now and it was stuck, I could probably figure it out. A lot of ways carts can get stuck. Carts are evil. Carts are really, really messed up if you really think about it. But what's funny about the carts at Shoprite, and it's at some other places too, it's like this, but a lot of places it's not. The cart corrals would have a thing, like a little metal hook on it. What's funny though is that when people would take the carts, the cart system had a quarter system. And what that meant was that you would have to insert a quarter into the cart to retrieve it because it would unhook the metal hook. And people thought it was a scam. And they're like, well, why? I pay all this money at Shoprite. I pay all this money at the supermarket. Why do I have to pay a quarter for this cart? You get the quarter back. You literally get it back. You put the cart back in any cart corral. It doesn't have to be the same one. And you hook the metal piece that comes out. You put it back in. The quarter comes out. The quarter comes out. There were diagrams in all the cart corrals to show you how to do this, and people would still not understand it. They would still complain and say it was a scam, And I think sometimes they even go to managers, especially back in the day, probably when they started this. Like, they would get managers crap for this and other workers and even me sometimes. And I would explain it to them that, like, you get the quarter back. So I was talking about the electric carts before, the Amigo carts, the world famous Shoprite Amigo carts. Ugh, okay. So let's get to a good story first. I'm going to start with the positive. At one time, I don't know why, but there were 3 cart guys on at once. Maybe one person was leaving, 2 were getting on or something. I don't remember what was going on, but there were 3 of us. 3 of us on staff or whatever for the carts, which never really happened. So it had to be some kind of, I don't know. I don't understand to this day how that happened. But we all had an Amigo cart that was outside. There was 3 carts outside. So we all grabbed one and we raced inside to see who can get their Amigo cart to the charging station first. The first 2 guys, they were ahead of me, but they went the long way. They went the normal way, the way you're supposed to go in the building and to go loop around. Well, I said, screw that. I'm going to go through the exit lane where people leave the store, and I went on that side, and I cut them off, and boom, I won the race. But they said I cheated, so I didn't actually win. And there was nothing on the line, but it was just kind of like a fun thing that we did. One time I had to help a manager hold down an Amigo cart when a customer had to stand up to get off of it. I think it was a lady, and she was a regular, and she was a lot. She was very much a personality, and would always have to talk to the managers, always have to get the managers to help her. They would have to get me to help her bring her stuff. Well, I didn't mind it. But literally one day, me and this manager had to hold a cart down, Amigo cart, an electric cart down, so she can actually stand up to get off of it. Because the Amigo carts weren't that big, and I guess just the way that she was a bigger lady, but not like she wasn't like huge or anything, but I guess just the way her body was too, like she needed extra support. I don't know. But the both of us in the middle of the daylight had to hold this Amigo cart in the parking lot to help her get up. And she was a regular, like I said, but that never happened. So I didn't understand why that even happened. Like, I don't remember how it actually happened, but I just remember it happening. And just like, that's one of the things that like stuck out in my mind when wanting to record this video. That memory came up and I'm like, well, I remember that. It was weird. It was just a weird thing. I don't know. And speaking of weird things, we were talking about the cart corrals. A lot of people would still leave their quarters in the carts, which for a 16, 17-year-old, even an 18-year-old kid who's working basically a barely above minimum wage job, meant that the quarters meant I get lunch, I can stock up on some quarters, and over time I can go to the bank and cash the quarters in and everything and get some real cheddar, you know what I'm saying? And that was great as a kid, as a teenager. Awesome. Extra money on top of my really low paychecks as I was working part-time during school and then somewhat almost full-time, not really, after school. Yeah, there was one problem though. People would want to take those quarters too. You weren't the only ones getting the quarters. And there were a couple characters that would show up to shop here once in a while. And, you know, people who partake in different activities that would alter their mind. Let's just say that. They would partake in fun stuff, okay? And I guess they needed a fix, so they get the quarters, or they just collect the quarters to get a meal. I don't know. And it's not even that. Like, that didn't really bother me. When I was like a teenager, it did, but now it doesn't bother me. What was funny about one of those characters is like he would talk to all the workers. I think even at one point he was banned from the store from like stealing, but then they let him back. Weird stuff like that. I'm not getting into that really, but yeah, he just talked to you, and he randomly would talk to me. I'm still like a minor at this point, and he would talk about doing an odd job to get some money, to get a couple $1,000s really fast. And then he laughed, said, yeah, I made all this money today or this week, and now I'm going to go behind that building and smoke some crack. Yeah, and then he would tell me about how he like take needles and just like poke things off his body. Like, it was some weird stuff. Not gonna lie, it was some weird stuff, and that was that's what it's like working outside in the public. It's weird. It's kind of weird. But besides that, I mean, hey, it was a good time, guys. I mean, I enjoyed the job, and you know, thinking about other things that happened. I mean, really, my first regime of managers that I worked under, I liked. Then a transfer took place during between all the stores, and my management team that I liked left, and some other guys took over the store and took over my department in terms of like doing our scheduling and basically taking care of us. And ever since they switched over, I just didn't like the job as much because people I was working under, I didn't care for. They didn't want to accommodate me the way I thought I should have been accommodating. Again, as a teenager, guy who's graduating high school thinking he's all high and mighty or whatever, gonna, take over the world or whatever. I don't know. But I always wanted to go inside to work inside. That was my goal, from getting from outside to inside. And the first regime wanted me inside. That wasn't an issue. But the only issue was I was not 18. So you had to be kind of 18 to really work inside. There weren't really many positions. It'd be really tough sell. Because everything's unionized and everything. So it was a lot of like that kind of political stuff that... And it just makes sense because a lot of things you couldn't do if you weren't 18. So I get why I couldn't have been inside until that point. And for the first couple of years, fine. But I felt after 2.5 years, I really wanted to go inside. And just ever since I turned 18, it was always a battle with my management team to get me inside. And it just slowly over time, I became the enemy, I feel like, and they became my enemy type of thing. And like, I would always complain about other cart guys not doing their job right, always feeling like I'm doing a great job, and like, how come this guy doesn't have to do this, but I have to do this type of thing? And they would kind of turn around and be like, well, they're complaining about you not doing your job. And I really took that to heart because that was my first job, and I was actually working really hard, and I would consider myself, after the one guy went inside finally, he finally got inside, and the other guy got inside, that I was, the top guy in terms of cartage. Again, I'm a teenager. It's just what I thought, a little big ego for a kid who just pushed carts. But I really want to go inside too. Now something I want to do. And then basically I was told that I wasn't doing my job right and the other kids were doing their job right, when I thought that was definitely backwards, at least from my perspective, But working with the other people, for the most part, for the most part, people I liked. But there were some that came in that, like, didn't do anything, and then I got blamed for not doing anything by them. And they went to management, I guess, before I went to management. So it was unsettling at times with my management team. And unfortunately, I did break my kneecap during the summer, right after graduating from high school. So I had to take a couple months off for surgery and recovering. And I came back Shoprite to push carts. No pain, a little bit of pain or whatever, not anything bad. But I really didn't want to go outside in the wintertime to push carts. I didn't want to slip on ice or anything like that. And again, I just really wanted to go inside. And finally, I went to my management team again after coming back. I was only there for a week. I came back on a Sunday, and then a week after coming back on a Sunday, during the middle of my shift, I'm about to take my break, and I go to my manager one more time and I say, hey man, can we talk about me coming inside to work inside? And he's like, well, there's no position open for you. And I was probably a little aggressive towards it. I was probably frantic and like, hey, can we talk about me coming inside? And finally, again, since I'm back now after a week. And he didn't really want to talk. And I said, well, I just want to let you know, I really don't want to look forward to working out in the wintertime with my knee now, because in case I slip or anything, I don't really want to take any chances. And that was a general concern I had. And he basically turned around and said, well, any position you do, you have risk of hurting your knee. And I'm like, I understand that, but I just really want to come inside. And you know this for a while. He kept blowing the conversation off, and he went inside his office. I turned around right in front of the time clock to go clock out for lunch. I clocked out for lunch, got in my car, and I left. Now, again, that's how I left. And I had family members working there, and they called me in to try to have me come back. I declined to go back. I was officially done at that point. But I want to end this video with saying it wasn't all bad. I met some cool people. I met some cool friends. I had good times there. I actually had good times there. So it wasn't all bad. I just wanted to share some of the funny, weird stuff that would go on there. And there's plenty of other stuff that probably happened that I'm not remembering right this second. But overall, as the first job, not too bad. But guys, I do have more videos coming out like this because I have a lot of work stories. Have a long job history already at 24 years old. It is what it is, but I have some entertaining stories coming out soon, very soon. I'm going to be recording probably this week some other work stories, and some of them are going to be very interesting. There was a couple interesting things in Shoprite, but not too many. It was just me working there for a couple of years. Something here and there would happen, but I got some jobs that Oh, there's more stories coming, guys. There's more entertaining, more weird stories coming. So I'm Dustin Doyle. Thank you for watching this video. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Let me know down in the comments what your first job was and your experience with that in the comment section below. Take care, guys.